had to go for it. Unfortunately, doesn't work out for him there.
Jack, if the rest of the games today go like this, I don't know if I can handle it. This has been we saw more players alive.
Yep.
Play to see if the Storm could take any more eliminations, put them closer to a top 10, even for just 1 point.
Well, back in game one, it all began with Aiden raining terror on the tilted towers. We've got to look back at that to begin. Look at this ramp to block the rocket, the quick follow-up, and there it is. The player, I think, tried to port-a-fort, but unfortunately landed above him. And then Aiden, once he got to full HP, said, you know what, I know exactly where Nick Merckx will be, and I'm going to go for it right off the bat. Nick only able to tag him for 7. The crowd definitely made some noise there, as he didn't stop at all. He continues to hold forward. He wants to bring the fights to his opponents and get right in their face.
That's multiple window peak engagements from Aiden, taking advantage of every little bit of cover he could. Catches another player off guard as they rotate in through a building. You saw they went for the defensive build too to block him out, but it wasn't enough. The 72 damage crit, it'll almost jar players. That amount of damage that fast, it's the same effect as maybe getting hit by a hunting rifle shot or a sniper during a rotation. You get frazzled very quickly, and you'll see players build defensively, and sometimes it's not enough, especially when you have accuracy like that.
Oh, for sure. And that's just the look at some of Aiden's plays. There's obviously so many other players out there. Kayun had, I believe, eliminated Chap, then went on to take down Replays as well. So 2 bigger names. This was the battle versus Chap that we followed for quite a little bit. It was the one window edit that drops Chap on in. Come on, my friend, and Chap was not ready for it at all.
Versus Replays the box inside, and Kane's trying to take advantage. He'd take ownership of the structures above. He goes for it and forces kind of a rotation out. Players will see ownership change in the structures, and they'll make moves to get away, to say, okay, you think I'm inside there and I'm not anymore. And Replays caught off guard. Almost Kane saw ahead. He predicting other players' movements is huge for these guys, and couldn't pull it off that time, but a valiant effort. He earned 3 eliminations. That's a single point, and he should feel fantastic about that. That's more than we've seen in the previous qualifiers, people that have advanced to today.
Yep.
So every point counts. Every point counts.
Yeah, well, we actually, at the end of the game, had a crazy, crazy little rift to go play. And remember, when you pop that rift, there's like a little verticality element to it. Well, pull people in with you. So he drops on down. Landjock uses it, sucks 2 people up with him. Then you see here, it was Nate, Landjock, and Prodigy Aces. Landjock decides, I'm going to drop on down to try to take the rift again to resecure the high ground. And literally the second he goes to sprint into it, it goes away. Shortly after, he does get that elim, but then it's traded quite, or sorry, it's what keeps him alive then to stay alive and then go on to win that game. That was the one elim he needed.
The awareness from Gorilla right there, even though he didn't get the elimination, just as the second he heard the mini get popped, the sound of the shield, he opted to edit the stairs, push in through, and try and go for the elimination, and Landjock, the accuracy and that double barrel, it just hits like a bus.
It most certainly does. I actually do believe we have Landjock, our Victory Royale winner from Game 1. We forgot to mention, he just won $25,000. I don't even know if he knows. We'll go ahead and throw it on over to Zeke in the players area.
What's up, guys? Awesome cast. I am here with Landjock, who just, as you witnessed, he riffed on the goat 3 players, and he gets the victory out. You just won $25,000. How are you feeling, man?
Man, that was amazing. I didn't think I was going to win, but the guy ended up dying to fall damage, and I got it. So, oh, bro. I don't know.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the next few games?
Yeah, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try to win another one, but I'm glad with what I already did today, so.
Now, did you know that you were going to rift those 3 players? Because everyone at PAX is watching this, right? And so the moment you jump down, you activate the rift on the go. Literally, PAX erupts because they're like, you just pulled 2 other people. You dive down and you take someone else out who's like, oh, there's a rift here. And then you just blast them. How did you know they were there?
No, I just knew I didn't want to die, so I did it. And I saw 2 people with me, so I'm like, well, I'm going to try to go down. And it worked, so.
That's awesome, dude. Any strategies you've got going into the next few games?
I'm just trying not to die. I'm playing for placement, so just going to try to survive as long as I can.
Dude, best of luck. Congrats on the victory out for the first and the $25,000, dude. Good luck in the rest of the games. Courage.
Boys, brilliant, brilliant stuff. You mentioned $25,000 richer, but Landjock sticking to his kind of game plan. I want to survive. I'm playing my life, and it worked out perfectly there. Literally the only limb he had to get, he was forced. Like, he had no option but to fight him there.
Yeah, and it's funny, the playing to stay alive, it seems like he's not the only one. We've seen circles with 40, 50-plus players remaining, and the number of builds that happen during a storm rotation, when the circle starts to move, that's one of the deadliest moments in the game. You literally see the field get cut in half.
100%.
Because people we saw multiple players eliminated by fall damage at the same time, rotating over Shifty. We saw people landing inside boxes next to each other, not realizing that there's 1, 2, 3 players above them, and they're forced into engagements. And right now I feel like people don't want that. People are trying to avoid fights because there's a chance if they miss a shot, if they don't build at just the right time, any little mistake is gonna cost them.
So something tells me this isn't the last time we're going to see these last zones go down to the storm claiming the final limb, right? I feel like this is going to be the theme of today.
Strap in. It's going to happen more than once. And honestly, it's so exciting and so hectic. There's so much happening. The top-down angles that we're getting on these it's incredible because you can really see it's a stampede of players pushing to try and get inside the next zone. And it's not always shots that are determining who stays alive, who makes it to the top 10 and gets a point. It's appropriate builds. It's intelligent positioning. It's foresight and reading your opponents, and it's happening every single time. These players are processing information so fast.
So much stuff going on. It's crazy. As we get the next lobby ready, we will be hopping into game number 2 very, very shortly. I can see it getting updated on my screen. But there's so much stuff going on. Families here attending this event. We actually caught up with a father and son Fortnite fans. Let's hear what they had to say.
My name's Sean Shevlin, and my gamer tag is YoungPrism98912. We're from the Portland, Oregon area, and this is my son Rylan, and he plays under the same gamer tag, but he earns all the points. So you had heard about it at school?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he kept begging me and begging me and begging me to play. So finally I told him if he did his homework for 2 weeks straight and didn't whine about it, we would download it and he could play. And so we did that, and he started playing, and now I play a pretty good amount with him, and I teach high school math also, and so I brought it into my classroom actually a lot, and the kids love it. So like this week we did a lesson on graphing, and I took the Fortnite map and we did quadrants and we graphed on there. So that was another reason I came up, was I was like, I'm going to tell all my students that I competed in summer skirmish. My go-to strategy is camping. Where do you like to land?
Tilted Towers.
Oh, my favorite gun, the bolt action sniper, because I am a terrible shooter. So if I can't get you in one shot, I'm probably dead.
I like the clingers because you can just like throw it at someone and it just like sticks them, and then they just blow up.
Really want to win $5,000. I feel like I might have a chance of making it through some qualifiers, and maybe I can get there. So
you're gonna get wrecked.
Absolutely awesome stuff to see there. I wish I was able to use Fortnite in my high school math, but instead it didn't go well.
It's okay. It's okay.
Why you're casting.
No shame in hiding behind the desk. Courage. That's fine.
There we go. Awesome father-son duo there. Hope to be able to meet him here as PAX West continues. As we get ready for game number 2, I see everyone in the lobby. We have to update you guys on the standings. Remember, $1.5 million on the line today. And here's where we stack up after game 1. Landjock won a limb, but the victory royale gives him the advantage over Nate Hill. United's Jack, 6 limbs that first game, leading the lobby just above Aiden. 2 members from Envy in the top 8 as well, and Tifu in that 10th spot.
Already a plethora of players with even just 1 point, all the way up to 17th place. And then after that, eliminations decide, as well as their placement. The tiebreakers came in pretty big previously. It was running around in the player area. You have to remember, too, if you're watching, the player area is completely separate from where we are, so they can't hear us at all. But what they do know is shortly the bus is launching, game 2 beginning. Courage.
This is absolutely crazy here. I'm looking around. People are enjoying the Der Burger free food. There is a line down the block in hopes to get in here. it's gone from standing room only. I'm pretty sure people are just laying on top of each other at this point in hopes of being able to watch. It is a blast here right now. The energy in this crowd is insane. And ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Game 2 starts right now.
East to southwest trajectory. Wailing Woods pretty close to the beginning of the bus, which means a handful of those liquid players, they do tend to the northeast corner of the map. They're going to get down pretty quick, which means I expect to see them in the feed earlier than other players if they do land in a kind of a hotter drop. Retail, and you have people floating down to Paradise already. Fatal is going to get occupied. I'm curious if the Cube is going to come into play again at some point over the course of the day. We're just getting started.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. So you see a beautiful look at that free camera, just watching around where people are going. Landjuck says, I just want to stay alive. And apparently, staying alive means landing near Tomato Temple.
Flower, I think, picking up potentially the first elimination of the game gets Prodigy Aces. Topway and Fade both picking up an early elim as well in letting zones.
And right there, instantly picking up the ammo box. That's something that's actually so key in these games because we reference ammo so often. And what, already a 3-person rift use? In a panic situation, it looks like, if I had to guess, Cryo started engaging people with this tac shotgun. And then they popped a rift to try to get out. One of the enemies popped a rift to get out, and it looks like it was a good way to disengage the fight. They'll live to see another day.
Cryo, you have to remember, was the player that won the coin toss from day 3 qualifiers. Hoping to put on a good show. That coin flip determined whether or not he was making it here. Gave a coin flip for $5,000 as well, no matter what place he lands. GS Brandon here, a number of players landing here at retail, and they kind of all chose their own home and said, okay, I'm going to loot everything here before I push out. Everybody else, please stay inside your homes as well. It's like a gentleman's agreement almost sometimes. You very rarely see someone drop in at a house in retail in competitive games, get even just a single chest, and then immediately push to engage, because you might be missing out on other loot in the house. They're going to take their time. You know, smack all the furniture inside the house. Hysteria here. We talked about Hysteria lanes greasy very consistently.
It's our spot. We're the greasy boys.
Northwest corner, and actually the first circle, kind of a northwest focus.
I'd probably fire. But no, either way, over towards the racetrack. Multiple clingers coming on out. Remember, clingers recently updated. Now act a little bit differently when you stick 2 on a wall. As instead of them both instantly exploding, once the first explodes and destroys the structure, the second will fall down from there and then cling onto the next thing that's there. So instant explodes are a little bit tougher to have happen now. That's Tyler's from yesterday, just backing on up. Didn't have the best game 1, looking to rebound here.
Punisher in Pleasant Park. We had a look earlier. It looked like roughly 4 players were out here. You see there, wow, what a quick swap from the player inside the box. Punisher takes control of the wall, but his opponent re-angles the ramp inside to act as like a second layer to protect him just from that window peek that Punisher was going for. An excellent play there from Rio, but he's going to rotate around underneath, and Punisher is tracking him, following, trying to get another wall replacement. Rio staying on top of ownership of those surfaces, and Punisher's going to have to find a second angle, and he almost does the window there, but Rio's edit there. He swaps and changes the angle of the ramp to act as protection from Punisher's push.
Yep.
Punisher's going to have to find a good angle here. Rio's clearly on top
right here.
It's the top down.
They actually bounce off each other. Punisher swapping back to the shotgun. Another tag. They're both so low.
How many HP?
38. Rio with the elim. He'll go ahead and bandage on up. This is Wheats. Wait, what?
The Kobe nade
no
kill
way.
Shuts it down. A single one gets
the
Chris.
Grenade kill from 81 meters.
Goes for a second. If he gets us, are you kidding me?
No, there's no way.
Close,
Okay,
close. Aiden, tilted towers. Not surprising, which means Nick Merckx.
Oh my goodness.
1v1 round
again.
2.
This is going to happen all day. Aiden, each time he's fought Nick so far, has been at max HP. He continues to put himself in great positions to have the advantage. Nick now waiting, listening, knowing it's got to be Aiden nearby. These guys know what skins they wear. They know the routes they like to take. You think whoever wins this fight will claim Tilted Towers for this game. When Nick hears that chest open, he knows exactly where Aiden is. Here comes the engagement again. So far, Aiden eliminated Nick back in game 1, and Nick looking for vengeance right now. Trying to spray on down with the LMG. Aiden building walls. Nick in the engagement. The tag. The shield's now gone for Aiden. Nick with the advantage up to this point. He's got to push the agenda here. The crowd getting behind Nick Merckx. You hear the chant going on in the background. Nick has matched the build. Aiden with the high ground. Nick 132 HP. I believe Aiden has just a little bit less. But as I say that, you see Nick with a little bit of a grimace there as he gets tagged for 60. The 1v1, the quick block there. The battle of the century. Two of the best controller players in the world going at it. Aiden down to 2 health. He's going to have to big shield here. Nick wants this fight. I can tell you he wants to tie this 1v1 battle up at 1-1. Aiden now on the high ground of the building. Nick, I believe, is disengaging for the moment. I'm sure he heard that big shield, Lupo, and that might have been enough to scare him off. What comes to the chest to slurp? As the crowd knows just how good that'll be. That'll put him up to 77 HP as they've just disengaged. They'll both live to see another day. Oh my goodness, Lupo.
Players of this caliber, are you kidding me? Players of this caliber trading shots like this, disengaging. We're going to see these two, I guarantee you, before this circle closes, the next time. They will end up having to fight each other again. Round 3 almost, and Aiden's going to drop on the outside. These drop downs, placing the floor to stop himself from taking any fall damage. He's going to end up 176, 177 HP total here.
I feel like this crowd is fine with just a $1.5 million Nick Merckx and Aiden only in Tilted tournament.
1v1 in Tilted all day.
As their gold's going to go ahead, reset. They're the only two here, I think.
You have a couple
There's
players
a couple people now
on the outside.
But that's why they're just like, there's so much loot still on the map that they know, oh, this hasn't been touched, this hasn't been touched. Will they come across each other again soon? The last we saw, Nick still didn't have shields. Here's 72 hours. Let's see how this went for him. He's got the Chug Jug ready to go. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, that is... just a heads up, that's not good, actually. Blowing yourself up with a Glimmer. Oh, replays with a quick scope the other day. Feels some of the counter shot there from Painful PvP.
We've got Flower from Rogue. 2 eliminations already, which means the third one will pick him up a single point. Aiden still back here.
Oh my goodness.
But round 3.
Round 3.
Nick Merckx versus Aiden. 2 controller titans hanging out in Tilted Towers.
Here's the thing though, Nick has no shields. He basically needs Aiden to walk on into the double barrel and say hello. He's waiting. They are 1 pixel away. Aiden charges in. The spray! Aiden again at 20 HP. And this crowd erupts again.
Look at the loot next to him too. He already has a rip to go, a second rip to go on the ground, and the bait to swap there.
If Nick has any shields or if Aiden doesn't have 200 health, you gotta think it's done. And look at Nick, realizes just how close he was. Aiden chant going out. There was a Nick Merckx chant. This is the battle of everything right now in these early games.
Absolutely unbelievable. The launch pad and escape against Laser. Dremen trying to make it away, but the accuracy of whoever, the multiple players down there in Salty Springs say it's not time to leave yet. You got to come back, and he's going to have to box himself. Make numerous layers so he can get a couple of these heals off. He has a slurp, multiple minis, so he can get a good buffer back up, but there are people around him. He's got Wheats underneath. Vactor's taking shots from a distance over there. He has an opportunity now. Looks like they left him alone. Now this is Tyler's, a player we've had our eyes on after previous gameplay, but we'll see here. Jay Cuddy, accurate shots from underneath. The SMG spray just right on point, and a rocket off the wall. As Tyler tries to layer, you saw he went for the floor placement there. It wasn't enough, not fast enough. X's from Trouble Boys building up in a tempo. A very, very good player here. Both of these guys,
I love
excellent builds.
Every time the crowd sees that one of the names involved in the fight, they just go, oh my God, you know, like, they just know how much it means. I thought he was going to try to style with that hunting rifle for a second.
Backing out.
In the elimination feed, Weeds goes down, Sakairos goes down, and Mac also falls. The lobby down to 59 players left. The second zone about to begin to close.
At this point, 30 seconds. the choice of engagement here, if neither players have 2 eliminations, I don't think either of them want to fight each other. You're going to see an early rotation out from like your Tempo deciding now's the time to move. This isn't good for either of us. So let's move forward.
Saw that big shield. This is Takada in a fight with someone here. It's actually Nate Hill, and has the instant beam to earn the 3 elims too. Nate Hill, if you saw, was in that top 5, or I believe it's actually second after game 1. Does fall early here, but even though he does fall early here, Lupo, he's still in a brilliant position, I'm sure, in our standings after this.
1, 2, 3, even 3 bad games, not necessarily the end of the road here for these players, because 6 games, anything can happen. We've seen multiple people shine in the qualifiers.
Wow.
People come from behind, even like players like Saint, who didn't even engage very often. He had no eliminations, but managed 3 points during his qualifiers to make it to the grand finals today. It's still anybody's game. Going for the snipe midair. Are you kidding me?
And as you guys saw for a second as we pulled up the map, this is a Loot Lake ending. Kayun continues to fight these big names and continues to come out on top, as Poach just got sniped by Kayun to be eliminated in game 2.
That's Kayun's second elimination, which means 1 point soon for him if he manages the third.
Fails the build.
Drop down.
Uh-oh. He does have medkits. He can survive, but that's a quick tag down to 70. The ballot. The pump does not connect. He's got to reset for the high ground. He knows it as he looks to build on up. Explosives.
Perfect placement in the middle. That Drebin walks right in it.
And you see the frustration there. Drebin, first elim on the board.
Now, currently there are 2 players with 3 eliminations, Top Boy and Takada, which means a single point apiece for them.
But
Kayun
actually,
has a point
as you mentioned,
prior.
Top Boy just got knocked out. So both players with 3 elims just dropped.
A plethora still with 2. We have 5 players currently alive with 2 eliminations there you see on your board. A lot of them relatively close to the zone, except for Rio, 400 meters away still. He's sitting pretty on HP and shield, but he's going to have to rotate relatively quickly. Might have been the most replaced structure I've seen at the factories there at Loot Lake. We took a look for a second, but Horrify stuck up top, taking a moment. Any seconds he has to pop any heals possible, they're going to go for it. He tried to place the bounce pad on the way down to prevent any fall damage. Didn't need to. Takes the bounce pad in that situation, though. Tries to rotate away. Gets tagged midair as this 1v1 against X is kind of flirting with the edge of the zone. X is going to try and layer up so he can sneak in underneath Horrify, and Tempo is there as well.
And this is a beautiful spot for Tempo. Both these players pushing out of the zone. They've obviously been weakened quite a little bit. He drops Horrify down to just a couple shots left. X's and Tempo are both like, hey, I want this one. No, this one's mine. As they continue to spray down Horrify, is just in a terrible spot. Tempo not really peeking too much from the other side. Can't drop down this structure as of yet. There it goes. No, it's still locked in.
It looks like it's attached to the 3rd point there. X is hoping to drop Horrify out in the open. Actually, during that, as Horrify was building up, X has had a moment there where he could have whipped a shotgun shot. And if Horrify was very low HP, it could have been an elimination already and put him at 2, but it looks like a hesitation caused him to not go for it. And he's going to have to back out of this, I think, 60 seconds. And looking at the potential zone movement here and the chance that there's a 3rd player, if he knew Tempo was there, saying that I need to move away now and secure the safe zone rather than go for this. And nobody that is currently alive is shining with 3 elims yet. There's a lot of players with opportunities. Babe's is 51 players remaining and moving in past the lake. Very open play here, and he sees that the target in front of him is getting shot from within that brick structure. So kind of a sandwich situation here. He could be the 3rd player here and go for elimination on someone that may be caught off guard. Brandon is the player up top. He's got Unicorn in front of him. He's going to push up, maybe establish himself as basically a neighbor here, seeing we're at the very edge of the zone. You see on the map in the top right, he is going for a gatekeeping situation, watching for people rotating in, and that's why he's sitting up top. He's got the edit active on the triangle so he can look through the structure that is currently established there. Nobody can see him, but he can see everybody.
Pretty good spot to be in, especially in a battle royale. A look at Blue Tee, J Cuddy on the edge of the storm. They'll have to move on in. There are 49 players left, and this zone is getting very, very small. You'd expect the lobby to begin to drop quick, and here's the gatekeeping you mentioned. He's got the edit ready to basically be able to peek on up out of there like whack-a-mole at any moment.
Almost expect an edit and maybe go for a hunting rifle shot on that player that was rotating across the river. Horrify we saw earlier. I almost expect him to go down. That means this means he rotated out past tempo, moving towards Loot Lake, trying to go for the safe zone. That's the key right now with 47 remaining.
And we haven't really talked about it a lot today, but you see these players, where they hit these trees, they drop them down to just 50 HP. For the viewers at home who might not realize, what is the thought process behind that if you're a pro player?
So if you finish a tree, the leaves kind of get kicked up in the air. There's an animation that plays that gives away position to these players that are extremely attentive to their surroundings constantly. So you see a tree go down, you know someone is harvesting that area. It's giving player location. That information can be incredible. That one, an easy knockdown because it's built within the structure, so it's not gonna give away too much. Plus, any materials are important. The players will opt to not finish trees very often, just so that they can remain as hidden as possible. Kevy here, 0. Elam sitting inside, well inside the safe zone, watching outside this little window, using the camera angle to look around the corner, not exposing himself, and watching for player rotations, an opportunity to take shots at literally anybody. You see Jamok in the middle of that with popping a med kit, almost no HP remaining. Kevy in the feed, Vape Jesus getting an elimination on Turkey Lips, who we saw go absolutely crazy. Turkey Lips did have 3 Elams, though, before he went down. For everybody at home, that is a point secured, so we should feel great about that. And there's still 4 games left after this. He has many chances ahead of him. Blind in the feed getting elimination. Before we cut away to this very wide angle shot, you can see this shot is so important. You can see how many players are starting to build up around Loot Lake, a very uncommon location for players to favor because it's so exposed. Courage fighting in the water it slows you down, and you have to have that extra floor layer. You see even where Kuroz is sitting here, there's nothing built underneath him. If you're on Loot Lake, you've got to use more materials to even build the same established location, and that can be tough, especially in late game situations where building is everything.
Jay Cuddy sprang with the SMG. Ecstatic was so weak, so that's a quick cleanup. Aiden just didn't stick the landing. That is Jay Cuddy's 3rd elim, which will put him up with a point on the board. I believe that's 2 so far for him today. Blue T chasing this elim down. Look at how weak he is. He's got him down to just 1 shot. You'd expect Blue T to clean this up, but no, the launch pad to disengage. I think he's going to live to see another day.
I'm going to be surprised if he doesn't pick that double barrel.
The loadout, my gosh. 7 minis, a big shield, 3 legendary weapons, and just drops them on in. And well, when you got a drum gun from that close and you'd have no shields, you're dead. There's no other way to put it.
I like the comment.